Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I thought today to read a few verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita from Adi-lila, 7th chapter. Usually on this day we read from the 4th chapter or 5th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, or 3rd chapter, about the reasons of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. But I thought it would be good to read from this 7th chapter where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself speaks about the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is Bhagavata Mahavidyalaya, and it's probably good to know the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam from the lotus lips of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to reveal the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was hidden before his advent. And here we can see the picture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worshipping the lotus feet of Ishvara Puri, either in Gaya or in Navadvipa. And the section which I will read is the conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ishvara Puri Pad. And Ishvara Puri Pad himself reveals this verse from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is, according to him and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the very essence of Bhagavad Purana. So, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, chapter 7, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features, text number 92. Nāca gao bhakta-saṅge, kora saṅkīrtana, kṛṣṇa-nāma upadeśi, sarva-jana. This is the words of Ishvara Puri Pad. My dear child, continue dancing, chanting, and performing saṅkīrtana in association with devotees. Furthermore, go out and preach the value of chanting kṛṣṇa-nāma. For by this process, you will be able to deliver all fallen souls. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is another ambition of the spiritual master to see his disciples not only chant, dance, and follow the regulative principles, but also preach the Sankirtan movement to others in order to deliver them. For the Krishna consciousness movement is based on the principle that one should become as perfect as possible in devotional service oneself, and also preach the cult for others' benefit. There are two classes of unalloyed devotees, namely Goshtanandis and Bhajananandis. Bhajananandi refer to one who is satisfied to cultivating devotional service for himself, and Goshtanandi is one who is not satisfied simply to become perfect himself, but wants to see others to take advantage of the holy name of the Lord and advance in spiritual life. The outstanding example of this is Prahlada Maharaj. When he was offered a benediction by Lord Nrisimhadev, Prahlad Maharaj said, Naivo dvije paraduratya vaitaranyas tvadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chitaha soche tato vimukachetasa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharam ud vahato vimudhan. My dear Lord, I have no problem and want no benediction from you because I am quite satisfied to chant your holy name. This is sufficient for me because whenever I chant, I immediately merge in an ocean of transcendental bliss. And I only lament to see others bereft of your love. They are rotting in material activities for transient material pleasure and spoiling their lives, toiling all day and night simply for the sense gratification, with no attachment for love of Godhead. I am simply lamenting for them, devising various plans to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhashya, a person who has attracted the attention of the spiritual master by his sincere service, likes to dance and chant with similarly developed Krishna-conscious devotees. The spiritual master authorizes such a devotee to deliver fallen souls in all parts of the world. Those who are not advanced prefer to chant the Hare Krishna mantra in a solitary place, like Vrindavan. Such activities constitute, in language of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a type of cheating process, in a sense that they imitate the activities of exalted personalities like Haridas Thakur. One should not attempt to imitate such exalted devotees. Rather, everyone should endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all parts of the world and thus become successful in spiritual life. One who is not very expert in preaching may chant in a secluded place, avoiding bad association. But for one who is actually advanced, preaching and meeting people who are not engaged in devotional service and are not disadvantageous. A devotee gives the non-devotees his association, but is not affected by their misbehavior. Thus, by the activities of a pure devotee, even those who are bereft of love of Godhead get a chance to become devotees of the Lord one day. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur advises one discusses the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam beginning with Naitat samacharet jatu manasapi hyanishvaraha. This is verse from the 10th canto, 33rd chapter, verse number 33. And the following verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anasaktasya vishayan yathartam upayanjitaha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. One should not imitate the activities of great personalities. One should be detached from material enjoyment and should accept everything in connection with Krishna's service. And then verse number 93. Eta bale eka śloka śikhāila more bhāgavatera sāra bale vāre. Saying this, my spiritual master taught me a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the essence of all Bhagavatam's instructions. Therefore, he recited this verse again and again. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11-40 was spoken by Sri Narada Muni to Vasudeva to teach him about Bhagavata Dharma. Vasudeva had already achieved the result of Bhagavata Dharma because Lord Krishna appeared in his house as his son. Yet in order to teach others, he desired to hear from Sri Narada Muni to be enlightened in the process of Bhagavata Dharma. This is the humbleness of a great devotee. And then the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam itself. Evam vrata svapriyanama kirtya. Evam vrata svapriyanama kirtya. Jata nuraga drutachita uchaihi. Jata nuraga drutachita uchaihi. Hasatyatho roditi rodi gayati. Hasatyatho roditi roti gayati. Unmadavan nrityati loka bhahyam. Unmadavan nrityati loka bhahyam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Ajanulambita bhujo panaka vadatu saṅkīrtanaika pitaro kamalaya daksha Vishvambaro dvichavaro yugadharma phalo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaurat Vishe Namaha Yantah Pravishya Mama Vachim Mamam Prasuptam Sanjivayate Kila Shakti Dara Svadamna Anyamscha Hasta Charana Shravana Tvagadi Pranannamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhim Svasyasta Vishvasya Kalak Prasidatam Dayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodya Manascha Badram Bhajata Tadoksaje Aveshyatam no matir atpyahaitu ki. Hare Krishna. So we are celebrating today the most important festival for all of us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Because this is the day of appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who revealed the most intimate secrets of the spiritual life to everyone. So much so that we who are born in a very degraded countries, in a very degraded background, are sitting here and discussing these subject matters, which is totally, completely ridiculous. But that's the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And with all the products of his mercy, no matter where we are born, whether we are born in Bharatavarsha, those who are born in Bharatavarsha in Kali Yuga, they are also, watching TV. as their main spiritual activity, spiritual practice. So there is not much difference, at least nowadays. Before there was definitely, but nowadays not much. And when the times goes on, the more times goes on, the more message of love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes more relevant and more relevant to the people of this world. Because otherwise, as Srila Prabhupada in this purport, beautiful purport to the verse where he says that we should preach Krishna consciousness, otherwise people are just rotting. And it's not that they're rotting themselves, they're just trying to make others to rot by distributing all kinds of degraded, not distributing, propagating all kinds of very degraded ways of spending their lives. And as a result of it, the natural result of it, they become more and more dissatisfied in the heart. And the hatred in the heart, dissatisfaction in the heart, turns into hatred, into anger. And then as a result of it, there is a war. We are witnessing now this completely mad event which is going on. That, people of Russia and Ukraine are fighting war with each other. If you would say this, few years back or even few days back, people would say you must be crazy. But no, this is the natural result of the hatred which is within the heart of people. And this hatred, sooner or later, has to come out. And how it comes out? It comes out as the killing of somebody who is near and dear. Killing their relatives, it's ridiculous, it's unbelievable. But that's the natural result. And Prabhupada says here that actually, who is guilty, who is responsible for this war? We. Because we didn't preach Krishna consciousness enough. Because we didn't really follow the mood of one of the Mahajans, Prahlad Maharaj. We didn't follow the mood of Srila Prabhupada, who actually teaches us what we should do. And as a result of it, we see the degradation which is taking place. And this degradation is not, it's horrible what's going on in the world. It's horrible. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, as I said, his message of love becomes more and more relevant because he's not only teaching the essence of love, he teaches us how to spend our life, what we should do, what we're supposed to do, how not to waste our life. And we're still, even being followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how much time we waste on all these useless activities instead of developing love of God, which is so rare. How much time we spend on internet, on reading different news and gossiping and doing some politics and striving for power and prestige. How much mental energy is being wasted on this. It would be okay if we would achieve the goal of life, if we would be, crying and roaring just by hearing the holy name of the Lord. But because we didn't achieve it, probably we have some better goal in life than to do all these strange activities. We really have to understand by reading these verses, how much we have to do, to put it in a positive way. How much, what we should do, what should be the essence of our life and our activities, emphasis of what we are doing. Because unless we achieve this elevated stage, which is described in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, we don't understand Srimad Bhagavatam. We may be studying in Mahavidyalaya, 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 Vishwavidyalaya, whatever it is. But, the sign that we understand the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is not that we know, 5 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam or whatever, or we repeat it as in a parrot-like, or we give, bombastic lectures, Hare Krishna. But the essence is this: we chant the holy name and all of a sudden we start crying, or we start laughing at least, laughing at ourselves. That's the essence. We start dancing without actually caring of what others are doing. This is, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the essence, and he came to teach this essence to all of us. That's his message. He came to give us this message. Because before he came, Vaishnavas in Navadvipa, who was one of the centers of learning, were very, it was a disgrace to the whole Navadvipa. Whole Navadvipa considered the very fact that Vaishnavas are there as a disgrace. The cultured people of Navadvipa, they were just, if they would see Vaishnavas were like untouchable for them. They didn't even want to approach them close by. They were really angry at Srivas Thakur. And very interestingly, in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Vrindavan Das Thakur, while explaining the attitude of the people of Navadvipa towards the Vaishnavas who were living in Navadvipa at that time, he's saying one verse. He said that while talking between each other, with each other, all these proud, learned people in Navadvipa would say, I was studying Srimad Bhagavatam for so long, and I've never seen that in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said that you should dance and cry and chant the holy name. This is amazing, there are so many verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, while commenting on this verse, he says, this is the fools that reading Srimad Bhagavatam, they don't see the very essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Everywhere, practically in every page of Srimad Bhagavatam, starting with the 3rd verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalaya. From the 3rd verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, what it is said that this is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is rasa, and you should faint. This is how you should read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami explains the method of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. You read Srimad Bhagavatam, and then, after reading one verse, you should faint, and then, get back to senses after some time and read another verse and faint again. Because this is Rasamalaya. This is, you should read till you faint. Of course, it will take us a long time to read till we faint. Maybe if we read during Gaur Purnima when we fast, then this bona fide result of reading Srimad Bhagavatam would come to us. But Vrindavan Das Thakur, he explains that this is how people were degraded, how the consciousness of people is perverted. And, unfortunately, the fact that you're reading and studying Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't mean much unless you're really following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because the key secret of understanding Srimad Bhagavatam is not mechanical reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, is not studying Srimad Bhagavatam, but really trying to follow the model or the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's a very essential key to success. Otherwise, Srimad Bhagavatam will become yet another academic discipline which we learn, and we may have PhD in Srimad Bhagavatam, or this degree or that degree, this Bhaktivedanta degree or Bhakti Vaibhava degree, whatever it is. But all these degrees, there's just another upadhi. Upadhi actually means diploma. Bhakti Shastri is upadhi. Bhakti Vaibhav is an upadhi. And bhakti means sarva-upadhi vinirmuktam. You should just throw away all your upadhis, all your diplomas. So that's the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came and while speaking to Mayavadi sannyasis in Benares, he's explaining all these things. He's explaining what happened to him while he was receiving, when he received the initiation from Ishvara Puripat in Gaya, and how Ishvara Puripat told him, just don't study this Vedanta. It's just waste of time. If you study this Vedanta, you become, heavy in your head. And that's the only result. You will just develop headache, while discussing this, sutra or that sutra. Yes, you may spend your whole life while discussing this. This other people in other sampradayas, for them, Vedanta Sutra is the main book, and they really study it very carefully. But Ishvara Puripat said, don't waste your time. Just chant Hare Krishna. You're not really capable of understanding Vedanta Sutra. Don't even pretend that you're capable. Just be honest. Maybe Janmadhyasya, maybe at most what you can understand. That this is the, or maybe Shastra Mulatvat, but even this is very high. So don't pretend, just chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But not only chant Hare Krishna. Of course, in case of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, as soon as he started chanting Hare Krishna, as he himself explains, he immediately developed this anuraga, jata anuraga. The goal of chanting Hare Krishna is to achieve anuraga, is to achieve attachment to the holy name. In case of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was very easy. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself actually predicted it. While he was displaying his pastimes of Pandit in Navadvipa, while wandering in the streets of Navadvipa, he would tease, especially Vaishnavas. He would love to tease them. And actually he predicted, now you're running away from me. And all the Navadvipa Vaishnavas, when they would see Nimai Pandit, they would run away, far away from him, because they knew that he would engage them in some useless argument or whatever. And while they were running, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would cry from far. He would say, now you're running from me. There will be time when you will run towards me. There will be time, the time will come when you will just follow me. Please remember this prediction. And he said to Mukunda, to one of those Vaishnavas, while Mukunda was tactfully, or maybe not so tactfully, avoiding speaking with him, he said to Mukunda, hey Mukunda, now you're running from me, but there will be time when I will become such a Vaishnava, then Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma will come to my door. and will beg from me bhakti. This will be the time. And of course, when this time came when he got initiation in Gaya from Ishvarapuri path, and he started chanting the holy name, and immediately the holy name manifested its full power in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But here it is said in this particular verse that in normal cases, in exceptional cases like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, the effect of the chanting of the holy name is immediate and sudden. But in normal cases, it is said here, evam vratah. Evam vratah means following this vrata, following this practice, following this sadhana. What is the sadhana which you should follow? Sva-jana kirtya. It means that you chant the holy name, but not any holy name. Sva-jana, the nama which is dear to you. The particular name of God, which contains, and basically means Sva-jana kirtya. You know, for us, it doesn't matter which name we chant. You know. We don't have any particular attachment to any name. Because name for us doesn't mean much. Sva-jana kirtya implies, this phrase from Srimad Bhagavatam implies that while chanting, you're remembering the pastimes connected with this particular name. And you're particularly attached to these pastimes. And therefore, you develop the attachment, this jatanuraga, to this particular name. You're not just chanting the name mechanically, you know. For us, it doesn't matter which name, you know. If it was anyway, Hare Krishna, okay, no problem, Hare Krishna. But it actually means, why do we chant Hare Krishna? Because Hare Krishna is supposed to be our Sva-jana, the nama which is particularly dear to us, because we are attached to the pastimes of Krishna in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And because we know these pastimes. Because otherwise, how you develop anuraga to all these pastimes? How you will get to this level of jatanuraga? So, this is the practice. The practice is not only chant the holy name, but the chant the holy name or glorify the holy name in kirtan, which is particularly dear to you. Why? Because you know the pastimes which are contained in this name. The pastimes which are in this name and which should be revealed in this name. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, while commenting on this verse, Evam vratah sva-jana kirtya jatanuraga drutta chitta uchaya. Drutta chitta. Well, because of this anuraga, because of this attachment to the holy name, you will feel that your heart will become liquid. You will feel this amazing process of the melting of the heart. I'm sure that everyone has this, you know, some little experience, at least little experience of this drutta chitta, when the heart becomes melted. You know, you all of a sudden, because your heart becomes melted, you love everyone. You know, just a minute ago you were envious of everyone. You didn't tactfully show it externally, but you were not happy with everyone, you know, why he's here and his nose is like this, and, you know, and he thinks he's a pure devotee, he's a pretender, and, you know. But all of a sudden, while chanting the holy name, you look at the people, oh my goodness, they're all pure devotees. It's only I am an envious demon, you know. This is what it means, drutta chitta. This is what it means that your heart becomes melted, because when the predominant bhava in the heart, I want to enjoy. And I want to enjoy better than everyone. And everyone should worship me because this is the way how I should enjoy. How else I can enjoy? Everyone should understand my glory. You know, if this is the bhava, it means that the heart is still framed. It means that the heart is like iron or like stone. But, you know, when the heart becomes soft, as it is supposed to be, then you love everyone. And then because the heart becomes soft, you start crying. And it is said, what is going on here, that is uchai. Very loudly you start chanting, and loudly uchai hasati. Such a person, he starts laughing very loudly. And then athaha. Then after that, roditi, he starts crying. And roti, he starts yelling in a very pitiful tone. And gayati, he starts singing. And then unmadavan, he is completely mad. Nrityati, he starts dancing lokabhakya without paying any attention to the reaction of other people. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, by commenting on this verse, he explains what's happening, what is the nature of this anuraga. He says that while chanting the holy name, all of a sudden you see the beautiful scene when Krishna, little tiny boy Krishna, with his curly hairs and big lotus eyes and, very red like bimbo fruit lips, smiling and, looking around in a very fearful way. He's really afraid. And it's dark. It's becoming little, some light is coming. It's early morning and he is stealthily, goes into some gopi's house. And he's looking around. Somebody sees me or not sees me. He's really afraid. And you see this scene. You're chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you're not thinking what will be today for breakfast. Or how I will enjoy after that, or what will happen when I achieve this or that, or whatever. You're thinking, you see this scene, how Krishna is trying to steal some butter. And then all of a sudden, Krishna hears a loud voice of a gopi who caught him red-handed. Hey, this is a thief! And Krishna becomes very afraid. And when you see this, you start laughing. You're chanting Hare Krishna and you just laugh and laugh and laugh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And all of a sudden, this sin disappears from your vision. And when the sin disappears from your vision, you start crying. Krishna, where are you? Where are you, Krishna? You are, yeah. And you start, very loudly saying, Krishna, why are you doing this to me? Who do you think you are? You were just here. Why did you disappear? What right do you have disappear from my vision? And therefore he loudly says this. And when Krishna appears again with him, and he said, I thought you don't need me. And Krishna again comes to him and he starts singing. And seeing Krishna, he starts dancing. So it's not an artificial thing. It's just a real experience which devotee has. Why he has this experience? Because he's attached. Why he is attached? Because he studied Srimad Bhagavatam with this purpose of being attached to the holy name. These two processes are most important sadhana, and therefore this verse starts with this evam vrataha. This is the sadhana of reading Srimad Bhagavatam as a compendium or companion to the chanting of the holy name. Chanting the holy name, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and then again chanting the holy name, and then again reading Srimad Bhagavatam. When you're tired of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, chant the holy name. When you're tired of chanting the holy name, read Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't do anything else. This is what it means, Sevam Vrataha. This is the vrata which we should follow. We're supposed to follow, of course. You know, there is no YouTube in the meantime. YouTube sadhana is not implied here. So, but anyway, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here, and he came to reveal this essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because again, before Srimad Bhagavatam, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, people studied Srimad Bhagavatam. Madhvacharya, the only one out of 4 original acharyas, Adi Gurus of 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, he wrote commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Tatparya. Very short, essential commentary, but and in Madhva Sampradaya, Srimad Bhagavatam is very highly revealed. There are few commentaries written by the followers of Madhvacharya, more elaborate. In Sri Sampradaya, there is a commentary written by Viraragavacharya, which is also very, very essential commentary. But again, let's examine very impartially whether we have the right to say that before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and outside of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parampara, nobody can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Is it not a sectarian claim? Is it not a very, exaggerated claim, which members of some, Bengali sect of Vaishnavas, put forward to prove their superiority? So let's try to examine this very carefully because it's essential for us to understand that even though there are beautiful commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam written by very elevated Vaishnavas, but still there is something very special in the way how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the commentary. And therefore, for us to understand Srimad Bhagavatam really, as Swarup Damodar Goswami himself says in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the only way to understand the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is to find the devotee who is completely absorbed in the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and to hear him. And then only we will be able to swim in this Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. Then only we will be able to swim in this ocean of on the waves of this Siddhanta Samudra of Srimad Bhagavatam, of this ocean of different philosophical conclusions. Only then, if we hear from such a person, not from anyone else, we respect, and we may study commentaries of other acharyas. They have, beautiful realizations about different verses and meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. We try to follow as much as possible Sridhar Swami and then other commentators who from Gaudiya Sampradaya like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Vamshidhara and Jiva Goswami, of course, and his beautiful numerous writings, Sat-Sandarbhas, and not only, but other Sanatana Goswami when it comes to the 10th canto. So we try to do this. Why? So let's examine. I will not do it for a long time, but I wanted to make a few points in this regard. Why it is so important for us to follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and what is the specialty, what is the vishesh of his explanation, of his exposition of the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Prabodhananda Saraswati, Sripad Prabodhananda Saraswati, in a few verses, who is, of course, very fanatical follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, openly fanatical. He is not afraid of, he's actually proud of being called a fanatic. So he said a few very interesting things. I mean, he said many interesting things, but he says very interesting things which are important for us to understand. He said, Araditam navavanam vrajakhananam te, naraditam navavanam vrajaeva dure. He says, if you worship Araditam Navavanam, Navadvipa, with its 9 forests, then only Vrajakananam te, then only the Vrajakananam, the forest of Vraja, will become yours. Then only you have the access to this Vrajakanan. You know, you cannot really enter to this forest of Vraja without worshipping. In other words, you cannot enter to the forest of Vraja without worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because worshipping the 9 islands of Navadvipa means that you worship the personality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his mood. It basically means that you understand, you know, how he worships Krishna. Otherwise, there is no entrance to Vrindavan. And then he says, Aradito Dvijasuto Vrajanagaraste. If you worship Dvijasuta, if you worship this Brahman, the son of a Brahmana, Dvijasuta, then Vrajanagara, then this Lampat, this, you know, very, how you say this in a gentle way, this Vrajanagara, this very promiscuous hero of Raja, very, you know, loving hero of Raja will become yours only then. And Naradita Dvijasuto, Nataveha Krishna. You will never understand Krishna. You will never understand Krishna if you are not worshipping Dvijasuta, if you are not worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he said even more amazing things. He says, Navadvipi Vashedyastu Karetasya Vrajastitih Marichikavatan Yatra Dure Vrindavanam Dhruvam. He said, those who live in Navadvipa, only they live in Vrindavan. And those who don't live in Navadvipa, for them, living in Vrindavan is like a mirage. It's very far away. They may think that they're living in Vrindavan. In reality, they're not living in Vrindavan. It's a mirage. It's like a mriga, like this, you know, deer who is running behind mirage. He thinks, you know, the water is here. And in this similar way, we may live in Vraj. But if we think that we live in Vraj without worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, without worshipping Navadvipa and the rasas of Navadvipa, it's just a mirage. We are living in not in the real Vrindavan. We are living in the mirage of Vrindavan. That's the extent of his nishta of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, what happened with this verse? Anyway, there is one more verse which also from Navadvipa Shataka. Oh, what happened? There's not last line is disappeared. Anyway, it's a nice verse. Very important verse for us. Are Mudha. The very address is clear. To whom Prabodhananda Saraswati is appealing. Are Mudha. Gudham vichinute harer bhakti padavim. Daviyasya drishtya pya parichita purvam muni varaih. It says, O fool, please try to achieve this bhakti padavim, try to achieve the stage of real bhakti. Not be satisfied with some shadow of bhakti, some semblance of bhakti, some bhakti abhas. Gudham, which is very secret. Vichinute, think about this. Harer bhakti padavim, bhakti of Lord Hari. And then he says, it's a very, it's a very interesting way of thinking. He says, you're fool. You please think about this bhakti and please try to achieve it. What this kind of bhakti you should try to achieve? Purvam muni varai dishtya apyarchita. You should try to achieve this bhakti which the sages of the past couldn't achieve. Please, Muda, try to achieve the bhakti which sages of the past couldn't achieve. Does it sound very logical? Logical proposal? What is this perspective? What chances do we have? Please try to achieve this bhakti which was even not accessible to the sages of the ancient Vedic past. And then he says, Navishrambhaschite yadi cha dorbalyam vatat. He says, yadi, even, not even, if you, Navishrambhaschite, if you don't really have Vishramba, the face into this, or fool, or if you think that it's dorbalyam, that it's very difficult to achieve, does it sound familiar? Oh fool, please try to achieve this amazing bhakti which was not achievable, was not achieved by the sages of the past. Or if you think that it's too difficult to achieve, and if you think, if you don't really have faith, is it really possible? Is it possible? What to do? The last line is disappeared from my notes, but I remember what was there, luckily. Otherwise, you would be left suspended. So what to do? You just take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh fool. And then very easily you will attain this stage of Harer Bhakti, which is not achievable otherwise, So again and again and again, Prabodhananda Saraswati, he stresses this point, and this is the way and the only way to achieve, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed something which was not revealed by anyone else. And if we simply serve to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then akasmat, very suddenly, this yatha yatha gaura padara vinde vindete bhaktim hrita punya rasim tatha tatha sarpati hridya akasmat radha padam bhajas sudham burasim. If we serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we are fortunate enough, after accumulating a lot of pious credits, the heaps, the mountains of pious credits. Yathaya thagora padara vindya vindete bhaktim hrita punya rashim. Tathatata sarpati. Then we have chance. It's not guaranteed. But if we serve very conscientiously, very sincerely to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tatatatat sarpati hridya kasmat radhapadam bhaja sudham varashi. Then we understand what it means to feel the love of Krishna, which Srimati Radharani herself feels. Then we will have the access to these particular rasas. Radhapadam bhaja sudham varashi. We will be swimming in this ocean of these rasas, which are accessible to the gopis of Vrindavan. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. And how did he come to give this? There is another very important verse of Prabodhananda Saraswati, extremely important. Again, very relevant to the members of this Mahavidyalaya. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatasya yatra paramam tatparyam utankitam Sri Vayasakina Duran Vayataya Rasa Prasangi Piyat. He says that why? What is the meaning? Why it is necessary to have the involvement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why without the involvement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's not possible for us to understand all these things? Because Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada explains that Sri Vayasaki, Sri Sukadev Goswami, in his Rasa Prasange, while describing the Rasa dance, Api, he only Paramam Tatparyam Uttankitam. Paramam Tatparyam, the highest meaning of this Rasa Prasanga, of this Rasa Lila, he only gave Uttankitam. Uttankitam means the hint. Uttankitam. Only little bit. He hinted what was going on there. Sukadev Goswami himself didn't reveal it because it was very difficult. It is a very difficult subject matter. It's not easy to understand, and it's not easy to become qualified to understand. And therefore, he was not saying about this openly. He was giving hints for those who understand, but who can understand? So he himself, but what did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? What did he do? What did he do when he came? Yadratha rasa keli nagara rasasvadaika sadbhajanam tadvastu prathanaya gaurava pushalo ke avatirna harihi. And therefore to reveal this, because it was not revealed. The Hari himself, Lord Krishna himself, he descended to this world, Avatirna. For what? For which purpose? Loke, in this world. Gaurava Pushe. He took this Gaurava Pushe in this form of Lord Gauranga, and Tadvastu Prathanaya, to reveal this Vastu, to reveal this essence which was only hinted by Sukadev Goswami. And what is this essence? Radharati Keli Nagara Rasasvadaika Sadbhajanam. He explained what it means, how to perform this bhajan, which was not revealed before, and which is not revealed by anyone else. Only after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those who follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they understand what is this sadbhajan. What is this real worship of Krishna? How we can worship of Krishna? Now, so many people worship Krishna. So many people. Everyone worships Krishna. You know, Donald Trump probably also worships Krishna. Maybe, it's possible. But from our point of view, so many people worship Lord Krishna. One way or another, you know, they all say God. And God means who? Krishna. They all have different ways of worshipping Krishna. But here, Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, he says very important thing. He says, there is a real way of worshipping Krishna, sarva-jana. The real way of understanding who is Krishna, that how to worship Krishna, and only by worshipping Krishna in this way, he becomes pleased. If we worship in any other way, he will not become pleased. He will become pleased, but not to the extent we want him to become pleased. And we want him to become pleased to the extent that he becomes our obedient servant. That's the extent we want to achieve his pleasure, which is not a small goal. So Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he says very interestingly what this sarva-jana means. Radha Rati Keli Nagara Rasasvadaika. To have the taste for this Radha Rati Keli Nagara Rasa. Asvadaya Eka. To only have taste to this. To tune our mind and our heart in such a way that we can only have the exclusive taste of this Radha Rati Keli Rasa, Nagara Rasas Vadaika. That we have this exclusive devotion to this Radha Rasa, Radha Rati Keli, to this very intimate, amorous pastimes, which Krishna performs here in the kunjas of Vraja. And this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. And he was the living embodiment of it. He didn't theoretically come to give it. He showed to us what it means. His personality is the manifestation of these rasas of Srimad Bhagavatam. And why we can only understand Srimad Bhagavatam by worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means to try to get into the same mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Understand the bhavas which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself experiences. And while reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavata, we try to understand these bhavas or moods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And while understanding the moods, and Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very, generously explains this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Puri, he experienced love of God. But when he started his journey to Vrindavan, his bhavas of love of God within his heart intensified 100 times. So you should experience love of God, very intensely. And then, you should start your journey to Vrindavan. Real Vrindavan. And then by the very fact that you're going on the direction of Vrindavan, on the direction of these loving sentiments which are displayed here, but the very fact that you're traversing this path, your bhava should increase 100 times. So much so that you will go through the Jarikanda forest. And you will have to go through Jarikanda forest or New York forest or whatever forest is there. Actually, New York is much more dangerous than Jarikanda forest. Or to speak about Moscow, I don't even say this. It's very dangerous. And, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going through this Jarikanda forest. And again, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains, trying to explain to us the internal moods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he is just, seeing some rhinoceros, and he's going just in the middle, the herd of rhinoceros, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going just through this herd of rhinoceros, and Balabhadra Bhattacharya is, and rhinoceros, give the way to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Balabhadra Bhattacharya is wondering whether they give way to him or not, or they will treat him differently, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emanating this love while chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And all these wild animals in this Jharikanda forest, they feel his love. They feel this amazing experience which he experiences in his heart. And all the, elephants are fainting and starting chanting Hare Krishna, and all the tigers and deers embracing each other. And this is only Jharikanda forest, because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said when he reached Mathura, his mood increased 100 times. In Jharikanda forest, his mood was enough to convert all the tigers into pure Vaishnavas. What happened with him when he reached Mathura, it's even unimaginable. And then when he took bath in Vishramghat in Mathura, and started towards the forest of Vrindavan, his mood increased even 100 times more. And when he reached ultimately Radhakund, which is nearby, we cannot even imagine what he was feeling when he actually revealed or discovered Radhakunda, this most intimate place of pastimes to the world. Actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he reserved all other places to his assistants, to his, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. They revealed so many places of pastimes. One place of pastime he revealed himself. Only one. That is Radhakund. Why? Because this is the purpose of his appearance. Today we're celebrating his appearance. What is the real purpose of his appearance? What is the real purpose of the appearance of Vishwambar Mishra, a Brahmin in Navadvipa? The real purpose of the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to reveal the extent of the love of Vrindavan, which was not revealed and remains secret to anyone who is not the follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and remains secret to most of the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well. Because of not perfect way of following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the purpose. This is what we're celebrating now. This is what we're celebrating today. And if we are not experiencing even a little drop, atom of what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, his appearance is a waste. His appearance in this world is futile if he didn't give it to us. So if we want to really celebrate his appearance, the celebration of his appearance means to understand the meaning and try to approach in a very humble way the holy name with the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially Rasa-lila Prasanga, which the inner meaning of which is revealed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and explained by his followers. What is going on? How the love of God, because what is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the initial chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam? Again, only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to reveal it. It's a very intimate and hidden, indirect description of the growth of bhava in the heart of Krishna devotee. from Purvarag, described in the 21st chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, or even before, which is described in the connection with Adi-lila, at the end of it. And there is the hint of Purvarag in the 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should read or be able to read the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam as the description of development of this raga, and follow this beautiful method, prakriya, which is described there. How the attachment becomes more and more solidified, how Purvaraga turns into raga, and how this raga becomes more and more mature, unless it reaches its culmination in Radhakund, in the meeting of Radhakund. How through the series of meeting and separation of this sambhoga and vipralamba or viraha, through the series of these meetings, how the bhava in the heart becomes more and more condensed. So that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. And not only came to give, what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed to us. That's the essence of his personality and his pastimes. So this is what we're celebrating. And to celebrate in a real way means to understand this. At least to try to understand. It's not possible for us to understand it completely. And follow humbly by the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, who teaches us how to achieve this state, how to become real servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and ultimately achieve this state. And in this way understand the real essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is described in this verse. Evam vratah svapriya-nāma kirtya jatānuraga druvachita uchay hasatyatho roditi roti gayati unmadavan drityati loka bhakya. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gauranga Premanandi.
Any questions devotee can ask?
When you were mentioning about the four sampradayas, so I heard Lord Chaitanya took two principles from each sampradaya. And then from the Vāre sampradaya he took exclusive love of devotees, Radharani, and from Vishnu Swami exclusive love of Krishna. So I was thinking, isn't it like mutually contradictory? Exclusive love of...
He took the concept of pure devotional service from Sri Sampradaya, which is a broad concept. He took from Sri Sampradaya this idea of the purity of devotional service unmixed with karma and jnana. Whereas the specific moods which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propagated in his unique way are described in Nimbarka Sampradaya, specifically in this Dasha Shloki or whatever, not in his commentary to Vedanta Sutra, but in some other, which some scholars say it's not Nimbarka altar, but it doesn't matter for us. It's there in this Sampradaya, the moods of gopis of Vrindavan. And it's different. It's also belongs to the category of pure devotional service, or exclusive devotional service. But the category of exclusive devotional service is broader. Like Mother Yashoda also has exclusive devotional service. Somebody will say to her that your devotional service to Krishna is inclusive. she will be very offended. She's definitely very exclusive.
My point was about Sri Sampradaya, Nivada and Vishnu Swami. Vishnu Swami, the principal Lord Chaitanya, was exclusive devotion of Krishna, something like that. It seemed like one is exclusively for me.
No, in any case, the concept of exclusive is broader than the specific moods of goddess.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, man. I was hearing lecture, you were telling about the 10th canto. Krishna says, Mat ekmat saranam, because he has taken certain shelter to me. So you give how when person hears 10th canto, although this is Nirodha, but it's also Asraya, what you are explaining about. You said also 3 stages comes, bewilderment, then Stambha, and other fellows. Can you please little bit explain these things?
That's explained by Vallabhacharya in his commentary on this verse. Or in general, he is saying that Nirodha is that usually we say Nirodha means the liberation, or not liberation. Nirodha means the destruction of this world. Nirodha means pralaya. And this is the usual explanation, but Vallabhacharya, he gives a very beautiful explanation of this Nirodha. Nirodha means this state of complete internal morbidity, or how you say this, when you become completely stunned by the beauty of Krishna's pastimes and beauty of Krishna, and therefore you are Nirodha, you become like a stone yourself. I don't remember the details of this description. If you want, I can dig it out somewhere, but I will not be able to say something more than this general.
Other question, can I ask?
Mm-hmm.
Based on Buddhist verse, it's like the results should become just like Lord Chaitanya approached his spiritual master as an artist, as a god, as a devotee, as a disciple. And because you are simple, as soon as you chanted, because simplicity, offenseless, result immediately came. One may say, oh Lord Chaitanya, because you are God, that's why result came. But it's not a reason. Because
Exactly. Thank you very much.
My question is, again, we are in society 40 or 50 years practicing, so whether the result is coming or not, how to know, and if coming, how to understand this result, as well as because we are not increasing chanting holy name. We may preach, we may explain, we may give seminar, but wealth is not increasing. And we always say, okay, chant 16 round, follow calculative principle. Prabhupada said you will leave, but you will go back home to college. But why is not increasing? Why place is not there? This is my importance. One way, telling is another thing, but accepting the heart. To know the other things, but accepting it. That gives me so much pain, personally. So can you please explain?
Well, Srila Prabhupada hints on the reason in this purport which we read about the preaching. He says that while you're preaching, you are mingling or interacting with so many people, and there is a good chance that you will be infected by their polluted mentality. Of course, Prabhupada says that you will be protected, but you will only be protected while preaching to other people if you have very strong association with other devotees. And how Prabhupada puts it here. One who is not very expert in preaching may chant in a secluded place, avoiding bad association. But for one who is actually advanced, preaching and meeting people who are not engaged in devotional service are not disadvantageous. A devotee gives the non-devotees his association and is not affected by their misbehavior. So it's a very interesting, thing or point which Prabhupada does. He says that in the beginning we should avoid bad association and chant in isolation unless we become very advanced. Actually, preaching is a very important activity, but one has to have a certain level of advancement to preach without being polluted by the desires of other people, because when we intimately associate with other people, their ambitions and their desires come to us without us even noticing this. So this kind of contamination is possible. Therefore, there should be, first of all, there should be certain, we should practice devotional service in a very pure way for some time. And then also there should be times during our yearly activities when we exclusively engaged in bhajan. Because otherwise we will just be seduced or enamored by the secondary fruits of the preaching, which is, we all know what. Money, adoration, distinction, this and that. So that's easy. And Krishna doesn't give us the love of God because he knows that we have some other purposes in our, and he gives these other purposes. You want this? No problem. Take this. You want this profit, adoration, distinction, name, fame, glory, whatever it is, take it, no problem. So when it's actually very interesting in this second chapter of the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where this verse is there, in the conversation of Narada Muni and Vasudeva or Navayogendra and Nimi Maharaj. This second chapter is very important. Third chapter is also extremely important. And in the second chapter, there is this description of the 3 levels of devotees, 3 levels of advancement. Starting with Uttamadhikari, where it is said, sarva-bhuteshu yah pasyat bhagavat bhavam atmanah. And there the Uttama Bhakta is described. And who is Uttama Bhakta there? Sarva-bhuteshu yah pasyat bhagavat bhavam atmanah. The one who sees in all the living entities, sarva-bhuteshu yah pasyat bhagavat bhavam. And this bhagavat bhavam can be translated differently. You can, the first understanding of the first meaning is that you see the Lord in every living entities. You don't see the living entities, you see the Lord within the hearts of every living entities. And you're not interacting with other people, you're interacting with the Lord in their hearts. You relate with the Lord in their heart. And pasyat is lot lakara, right? You have to see. It's imperative mood. Bhagavat bhavam yah pasyat. So what does it mean? Does it mean that you have to really make yourself, force yourself to see the presence of the Lord in everyone's heart? The Acharyas explain that this imperative mood which is there in pasyat, you should see, means the Uttamadhikari doesn't mean that he always sees this. The Uttamadhikari means he always wants to see the Lord in everyone's heart. There is the desire to see. So when this desire to see the Lord in everyone is there, then we can preach. Then we will not be able to, then we will not be contaminated by the other desires of other people. If this desire is firmly established within our heart, I want to see the Lord. I want to see the Lord in the heart of every living entity. I don't want to to preach to, this rich person or that rich person, this lakpati or that crorepati. I want to preach to this person because I see his connection with the Lord, and so anyway, that's the. It's painful. I understand what you mean. It's very painful to see this. But anyway, such days as Gaur Purnima are good days to remind ourselves that this is the real purpose of studying and real purpose of Mahaprabhu's appearance in this world.